Personnel Management a software demonstration trying to show them how they needed to update their software. And it was then that they discovered that indeed Chinese hackers had installed some malware there in this agency. So hopefully this private corporation, this private company was awarded a contract. But these are the people that are taking all of our metadata and telling us not to worry about it. These are the people that we're supposed to be trusting with all of our health insurance when they want to federalize the health, completely change the way that we do healthcare in this country, and we're supposed to be trusting them with our personal information. So I'm sure that we're not going to hear the argument, oh, well, if you've got nothing to hide, then why are you worried about it now that it's actually going to be affecting people who work directly there in the government? So we're not really, this isn't really a big threat. The fact that Chinese hackers could hack into the government, infiltrate the Office of Personnel Management, and the NSA didn't even catch it, that's not a big deal. And Obama just wants everyone to think that climate change is the big deal. That's the huge national threat. And it's not even the threat. This other story that came out this week, in just under a year, ISIS has collected enough radioactive material to create weapons of mass destruction. It has been confirmed that ISIS has stockpiled enough radioactive material to create a weapon of mass destruction, and Obama admits he doesn't have a plan.
So it's a totally unfair and unbalanced fight. And now the rebels are the freedom fighters, the Syrian National Army are being beaten every place around Syria. So we've got to change the battlefield situation, and just sending arms, very frankly, although they need them very badly, they need anti-tank and anti-air weapons, is not going to change the situation on the ground, and the massacre goes on.
ISIS, blatantly supported by John McCain and the Pentagon, and hesitantly supplied tanks, rocket launchers, missile and anti-aircraft systems in accidental airdrops.
According to volunteer forces who are fighting the terrorists, American helicopters dropped boxes of weapons in Yathrib and Balad districts in the Salahuddin province. Now, the airdrop comes as the Iraqi army and volunteers are making significant gains against the terrorist group there. Now, back in October, the U.S. military admitted that a bundle of ammunition and weapons it had dropped over the Syrian border town of Kobani had ended up in the hands of ISIL members.
Now it has been confirmed that ISIS has stockpiled enough radioactive material to create weapons of mass destruction. In the ISIS magazine Dabiq, ISIS declared their intent to acquire a nuclear warhead from Pakistan with their billions of stolen funds gobbled up as they ransacked banks and took control of oil fields across Iraq and Syria. ISIS claims that all they have to do is call on their leaders in Pakistan to purchase a nuclear device through weapons dealers with links to corrupt officials in the region. India's defense minister, Rao Inderjit Singh, made the remark, with the rise of ISIS in West Asia, one is afraid to an extent that perhaps they might get access to a nuclear arsenal from states like Pakistan. Bloomberg quoted him as saying, ISIS admits that the scenario is a bit exaggerated, but then points out that a few thousand tons of ammonium nitrate explosive used in mining operations, or the weaponization of toxic chlorine as the gas bertholite, would be easy enough to make.
And it's designed to target mainly an American audience that is not geopolitically informed and doesn't know what's been happening for over 2.5 years in Syria, where NATO and the United States, that includes France, England, you name it, have injected over 100,000 foreign fighters from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from so many other countries that are al-Qaeda in over 60% of the cases. That's admitted. They are engaging in incredible atrocities across the nation. And 3 times in the last 2 years, they have been caught staging chemical attacks. They've been caught. Even mainstream news admits in the back of the paper, okay, they staged it. It's the type they used, they did it, to blame Assad and the Syrian military so they can take over.
There is a reason why President Obama
There's a reason the White House science czar wrote a book about brain damaging us with it.
Proliferation of these weapons.
Because you're a bunch of murderous, psychopathic bastards. And I'm so sick of watching you commit crime after crime and running al-Qaeda.
That this
John
international
Kerry,
norm cannot be violated without consequences.
Liar.
And there is a reason why, no matter what you believe about Syria,
No matter what you believe,
all peoples and all nations
people
who believe in the cause of our common humanity,
our humanity
must stand
should
up to
support
assure
them
that there
injecting
is
Al-Qaeda
accountability
rebels to try to
for the use of
overthrow the
chemical
government
weapons
and
so
kill
that it
all the
never
Christians.
ISIS is about 30,000 irregulars. They're not technically trained to fight. They have only the heavy equipment that they capture from us.
Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop says NATO is deeply concerned about radioactive materials ISIS has seized from research centers and hospitals that are exclusive to government stockpiles. ISIS has already been pushing its way into Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and other parts of the Middle East, becoming, as UK Home Secretary Theresa May declared, just months away from becoming the world's first truly terrorist state. ISIS has essentially reached this plateau of potential mass devastation in roughly 1 year. They will not rest until their perfect storm of globalized militant groups have unleashed its full scope of U.S.-backed intelligence and funding on the American public. Of course, whether they have weapons or not is beside the point. ISIS is already very successful at engaging the media in a giant psyop to terrorize the public and keep a firm grip on American freedoms as deemed necessary by the elite corporocratic succubus as they prepare the final phases of construction of the superstructure of a new world order. John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
Congratulations, Mr. Watson.
Thank you, sir. I'll do my best.
Some people will do anything to get into Harvard.
Mom, Dad, I'm black.
What?
No, you're crazy.
Mark Watson.
Come on now!
That was a clip from an 80s movie, Soul Man, where an affluent white teenager fakes being black in order to get into Harvard. Now, when that movie first came out, it caused a lot of backlash because obviously we have a white actor in blackface. Well, it sort of ties into this next story that has gone viral today. A prominent civil rights leader and NAACP president has been outed as a Caucasian who has been pretending to be black for at least a decade. Now, normally, lefties would jump all over this story because it's the ultimate cultural appropriation. But the issue is that for the better half of the year, progressives have really been pushing for this acceptance movement for self-identification. Should self-identification trump objective truth? So the critics of self-identification as objective truth finally have their test case. So according to her parents, Rachel Dolezal has been disguising herself as an African American after she assimilated herself in with that community and that culture nearly 20 years ago. Dolezal is president of the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP. She also chairs a city police oversight commission. She earned her master's degree from Howard University, which is a historically black college in D.C. And she's also an adjunct professor of Africana Studies at Eastern Washington University. She writes several blog posts about living as an African American here in America. And she's also states on her bio that she's been the victim of numerous, at least 8 documented hate crimes. No suspects have ever been identified in those hate crimes. And it was actually the latest hate crime that she claimed to be a victim of that caused her true identity to be revealed. She claimed that someone had put some letters and pictures of lynching in the NAACP's P.O. box. But the post office said that there was a problem with that because it had never been processed through the mail. There was no barcode on it, and that the only person that could have put it in there and put it in that mailbox was either an postal employee or someone with the key to that P.O. box. So then this caused a local news station to start doing a little investigating of their own. They confronted her and they say, you know, are your parents white? And a Vine that's been looping all day is her saying, I don't understand the question. I don't know what you're talking about. So then they went and they found her white parents who outed her, and they were, you know, they said they haven't been in touch with their daughter for years because she didn't want them around because they would blow her cover and all this stuff. And they were kind of upset about the fact that she was passing off her younger adopted brother as her son. So now normally, like I said, this would be the ultimate story of cultural appropriation. But now we are forced to ask, what is the material difference between Rachel Dolezal and Caitlyn Jenner. Ooh, everyone's saying, you know, race is just a construct anyway, so why does it matter how people classify themselves? And in her heart, she is black. So shouldn't we be actually really upset with her parents who outed her and refused to accept the identity that she has assumed? She self-identifies as a black woman, and she has gone really hard in the paint to live this life. So what is that, guys? Okay, I'm hearing that we actually might have some footage of Rachel Dolezal getting her diversity training.
Let's go a little bit of slang in there. Say, yo, that jacket is tight, son. You know what I mean?
Yo, that jacket is tight, son.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't believe you people.
Huh? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Huh?
So obviously we're just having a little bit of fun here today, but that's it. That's the big diversion tactic. It's getting us all talking about, are we really free here in America? If we're free, we'll be free to wear a dress, or we're free to get a total race lift if we want to recognize ourselves as black here. Those are the only freedoms that we're allowed to discuss. Don't even pay any attention to the fact that your actual freedoms are being stripped away in DC right now. So we're not going to fall for that diversion tactic. Now, thank you all for tuning in to our show tonight. If